You've followed every teaching, visualized your dreams, spoken your affirmations, poured your energy into action. And yet, the life you long for remains distant. Almost as if the more you reach, the more it slips away. But what if that's not a mistake? What if the very act of chasing pushes what you desire further out of reach? Like trying to grasp water with a clenched fist, the tighter you squeeze, the less you hold. In the stillness of Buddhist wisdom, there's a quiet truth. You don't attract what you chase. You draw in what you already embody. The universe responds not to desperation, but to alignment. Not to noise, but to silence. Not to the illusion of control, but to the power of surrender. So here's the question worth asking. Are you truly living from presence, or just performing alignment? Today, let us unfold a truth that may feel uncomfortable at first. You don't manifest by doing more. You manifest by resisting less. And if you stay with me through this journey, I'll share something at the end, a single shift that could change the way you relate to manifestation forever. Lesson 1. Stop demanding, start receiving. We are conditioned to believe that force creates results, that desire must be loud, constant, insistent. But in the still lands of Buddhist practice, there is a very different law at work. The more you demand, the more you disconnect. True manifestation doesn't erupt from effort. It arises from equanimity. The sage doesn't shout their wishes into the sky. They sit beneath the Bodhi tree in silence, trusting that the winds will carry what is meant to arrive. Consider this. Why do monks spend hours in stillness? Why don't they cry out for peace or abundance? Because they understand something most of us forget. The universe whispers back only when the mind has become quiet enough to listen. A heart clenched in urgency cannot receive, but a heart open in awareness becomes a vessel for miracles. If you desire love, peace, clarity, abundance, then first, become open. Not in thought, but in being. The Buddhist path teaches non-attachment not as apathy, but as wisdom. To loosen your grip on life is not to give up. It's to allow space for life to reveal itself. The Buddha did not offer riches. He offered freedom. And freedom begins the moment we stop trying to bend the river and instead let it carry us. Breathe. Notice how the breath arrives without effort, leaves without resistance. Now imagine if everything else could be like that, not forced, but flowing. We've been told that desire shapes our fate, but desire, without stillness, becomes a storm. And from that storm, we manifest confusion, not clarity. The world responds not to what you say, but to what you radiate. If your inner world is filled with fear, urgency, or scarcity, then that is the frequency you echo into the field of creation. Because in Buddhist understanding, reality reflects not what we wish, but what we are. Detachment is not about giving up. It's about giving over. Over to trust, over to the unfolding, over to the idea that we are not the architects of every outcome. We are participants in a greater rhythm. To want something without clinging to it, this is true power. To love without controlling. To dream without needing. To walk through uncertainty with grace. This is the essence of the awakened path. The less we grasp, the more life gives. Because the sacred does not arrive in noise, it responds to stillness. So ask yourself, what are you clinging to right now? What desire are you trying to force rather than receive? Are you becoming the person who already holds that reality? Or are you just acting out a role, hoping the universe will believe you? You cannot trick the universe. It listens beyond words. It responds to your state of being. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the story. Let go of needing to know what comes next. Open your palms and become the riverbed, not the dam. The future you long for may not be something to chase. It may be something that arrives when you finally stop interrupting its path. And remember this, a still mind is not empty. It is full of space. And in that space, life returns to you all that was already yours. when you stopped trying to control it. Lesson 2. Want nothing, receive everything. We grow up believing that the more we want something, the more likely it is to arrive. But life, as the Buddha gently reveals, does not bow to desperation. The more we chase, the more the object of our desire slips through our fingers like water. Want turns to need. Need turns to clinging, and clinging becomes suffering. But Buddhism teaches a sacred paradox. When you want nothing, you receive everything. It sounds strange, almost backward, yet it's in this letting go, this surrender, that we become magnets for the very life we once chased. True manifestation doesn't come from grasping, it comes from trusting. When we release our grip, energy shifts. The universe no longer sees us as panicked beggars, but as peaceful vessels, ready to receive. This isn't about giving up on dreams, it's about releasing the belief that we must suffer to achieve them. Detachment isn't disconnecting from life, it's detaching from the illusion that we can force life to bend. Real power lies not in control, but in harmony. There's an old story of trees in a storm. The stiffest ones, rigid in their strength, broke. But the tree that bent with the wind, the one that surrendered, endured. That is the lesson. Your desire, held too tightly, becomes your storm. Letting go is not a loss. It's wisdom in motion. Think of the times you stopped chasing, and things finally came. You let go of constant texting, and they reached out. You stopped stressing over money, and an opportunity arose. Coincidence, or cosmic rhythm returning to balance? The soul aligns when we stop acting from lack and start trusting in abundance. So here's the truth. The ego demands control, but the soul asks for alignment. Can you want something without being consumed by it? Can you trust that what is meant for you will find its way without force? Imagine your deepest wish, love, healing, success, as a balloon in your hand. Now release it into the sky. Watch it rise. Let the universe carry it. This isn't detachment from desire. It's detachment from fear. You are not incomplete without what you want. You are whole already, and wholeness is what attracts abundance. The Buddha did not leave his kingdom because he despised riches. He left to discover the richness already within. True wealth is not found in acquiring more, but in needing less. What if letting go is not losing your dream, but becoming the person ready to receive it? You don't force a flower to bloom. You simply remove the shadows. Let go, not to abandon what you love, but to make space for it to return without fear. Peace is the signal, trust is the message, and abundance is always listening. Lesson 3. Thoughts are not instructions, they're echoes. You wake up each day with a familiar voice whispering through your mind, a loop of fears, doubts, memories, regrets. And still, you wonder why nothing changes. But here's the truth. Your thoughts are not instructions. They are echoes. Echoes of past beliefs. Echoes of childhood wounds. Echoes of cultural conditioning. What you think is original thought may simply be repetition, memory in disguise. Like a mirror doesn't create your face, your thoughts often don't create your future. They just reflect your past. So ask yourself this. Are your thoughts building something new, or simply replaying something old? Buddhism teaches that the mind is a servant, not a master. Monks spend years in silence not to escape life, but to understand the mind's tricks. They know that every thought isn't truth. Some are simply noise. Some are fear pretending to be logic. Some are voices from a version of you that no longer exists. If you don't examine your thoughts, you'll start following them blindly. And blind following leads to nowhere new. You can't create a new path while tuning into an old station. Just like a radio set to static, the mind will play the same track over and over unless you change the frequency. Close your eyes. Watch one thought appear. Don't believe it. Just observe. Let it float by like a cloud. In this space of awareness, clarity is born, and from clarity comes true manifestation. Not because you thought louder, but because you thought clearer. Ask yourself, which thoughts are truly yours, and which ones are borrowed? A parent's worry, a teacher's doubt, society's definition of success. Most of us are trapped in recycled beliefs that were never our own to begin with. Buddhism invites us to pierce the illusion of self, to realize that the you thinking these thoughts may just be a shadow. When you understand that thoughts are not commands, something powerful happens. You stop reacting and start choosing. You don't just hear your mind, you guide it. From that awareness, manifestation begins. Not from memory, but from presence. Presence is where the old script ends and the new story begins. It's where thoughts become tools, not tyrants. So next time a voice tells you it's too late, too risky, or too hard, pause. Ask, is this truth or is it an echo? Because echoes repeat, but awareness rewrites. You don't need to silence your mind. Just stop mistaking every sound for truth. The thoughts that serve you will feel light. The rest will drift away like clouds in the sky. And remember this, your future isn't created by the loudest thought in your head, but by the quietest one you choose to believe. Lesson 4. The flame is not you, you are the sky. Desire doesn't arrive like a gentle breeze. It comes as fire, flickering, flashing, demanding to be fed. A thought appears, and suddenly we want to have, to hold, to be seen, to succeed. It rises in the chest, heats the skin, pulls the breath. And yet, what if we told you, you are not the flame, you are the sky it dances in? Most people don't realize it. They believe the flame is them, that the urge, the craving, the restless reaching is who they are. But the ancient wisdom of Buddhism offers a sacred truth. You are the witness, not the wanting. You are the space, not the spark. Awareness is like the vast sky, open, unshaken, infinite. Desire is merely weather passing through. A lightning storm cannot damage the sky. A flame cannot consume space. And so, when desire arises, you do not need to react. You do not need to fight it or feed it. Just observe. Sit. Breathe. Watch it rise. Watch it fall. And see what happens when you give it nothing. No story, no resistance, no fuel. The flame flares at first. It tries to survive. It begs for attention. But then, it flickers. It softens. And eventually, it fades. You don't need to kill desire. That's not the path. You simply stop confusing yourself with it. A monk once said, "Temptation knocked, but no one answered." He didn't slam the door. He just stopped opening it. He allowed the knock to echo and pass. This is the silent miracle of awareness. It doesn't fight desire. It outshines it. When you see clearly, craving cannot control you. When you are present, fire loses its grip. Because what is fire without air to breathe? What is longing without attention to grow? Most people try to manifest from that fire. They think the hotter the desire, the faster the dream. But true manifestation doesn't happen in flames. It happens in stillness. The calm mind, the clear heart, the observer who asks not from fear, but from truth. That's who the universe listens to. Desire is noise. Awareness is signal. One screams. One guides. Think of your deepest craving right now. Maybe it's for love, recognition, control, or escape. What if, just for a moment, you didn't chase it? What if you simply watched it, like a candle burning in a quiet room? Let it flicker. Let it dance. But stay still. This stillness isn't weakness. It's power. The kind that doesn't burn, but illuminates. When you no longer react to every fire, you become untouchable. Not cold, not numb, just spacious, centered. The world tells you to chase more. Awareness tells you, be here, be now, be nothing but the space where it all passes through. And that's the secret most never learn. You don't conquer desire. You outgrow it. You let it burn out on its own. You stop offering it your life. And in that quiet, in that vastness, you rediscover what you always were, free. So let the flame burn, but don't move. You are not the hunger. You are not the heat. You are the sky. And the sky, it never burns. Lesson 5. Where resistance ends, the river begins. They say you must want more to create more peace, more success, more purpose. But the wise ones knew a quieter truth. The path doesn't begin with desire, it begins with acceptance. Not the kind of acceptance that gives up, but the kind that looks life in the eye and says, yes, this too, even this. Suffering doesn't come from what life gives. It comes from the part of us that refuses to receive it. The mind says, this shouldn't be happening. The heart tightens, the body braces, and suffering begins. But when we accept the moment as it is, not perfect, not painless, just real, something shifts, the war ends, and in that surrender, there is power. Think of a river meeting a stone. It doesn't fight, it doesn't complain. It bends, flows, embraces the shape of what blocks it, and moves forward anyway. That is acceptance, not weakness, but wisdom in motion. So ask yourself, what are you still pushing away? A past mistake, a closed door, a dream that hasn't bloomed? What if, instead of resisting it, you welcomed it? Not because you love it, but because you're done fighting it. There's a quiet strength in saying, this is what it is. In doing so, you release the energy trapped in struggle. That freed energy becomes light, light that fuels creation, not from desperation, but from peace. Buddhism doesn't deny suffering. It reveals its source, attachment, aversion, clinging to how things should be. And it offers a way out. Let go of the should, bow to the is. You don't manifest a better life by hating the one you have. The universe doesn't respond to resistance. It listens to coherence, to presence, to alignment. And you can't align with what you fight. There's an old Zen tale of a young seeker who begged a master to help him manifest a new life. The master poured tea until the cup overflowed. "It's spilling," the seeker cried. "Yes," the master said. "So is your mind. Until you empty it, accept what fills it, nothing new can enter." This is the paradox of peace. You move forward not by striving, but by surrendering. Not by needing more, but by being here, truly here. So close your eyes. Breathe. Whisper to yourself, "This moment is enough. I am enough." Let whatever stirs in your chest arise. Fear, regret, longing. Let it speak, but don't cling to it. Watch it pass, like leaves drifting down a quiet stream. Because only when you stop wrestling with the current can you begin to float. And in that floating, you are carried, not by force, but by flow. Ask yourself now, what in your life have you refused to bless? What moment, what memory, what version of yourself? It's still waiting, waiting not to be fixed, just to be seen, just to be held, just to be honored. And when you do, you unlock the deepest truth of manifestation. The doorway to everything you want is hidden inside everything you've tried to avoid. Open the door. The peace you've been seeking isn't elsewhere. It's here, right here, waiting for you to say, yes. Lesson 6. In the silence, truth whispers. You've been running, haven't you? From book to book, strategy to strategy, hoping that maybe, just maybe, the next insight will change everything. Yet with every step forward, the answers seem to step back. It's not that the truth is hiding, it's that your world is too loud to hear it. The quieter you become, the louder life speaks. Not in volume, but in clarity. The soul doesn't scream, it murmurs, and it waits. It waits for you to be still enough to remember. The guidance you seek isn't somewhere out there. It's already inside you, soft, subtle, sacred. Imagine a still lake under the moonlight. When the water is restless, it reflects nothing. But when calm returns, the stars come home to the surface. Your mind is that lake. Your restlessness stirs it. Your seeking clouds it. You don't need to chase the answer. You need to clear the space where it can appear. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is fullness without clutter. It's not passive. It's the most active stillness you'll ever know. It is the space in which life begins to echo back your truest self. The Buddha never shouted his truths. He sat under a tree, quiet, listening, becoming. And in that stillness, the world unfolded before him. So many of us mistake doing for becoming. But the soul doesn't grow louder through force. It blossoms in silence. Try this today. Sit. Just sit. Not to fix, not to change, just to be. No affirmations, no visualizations, just breath and stillness. Watch your thoughts rise and fall like waves. Don't follow them, don't fight them, just witness. That's where you'll hear it. That soft voice beneath the noise. The voice that doesn't instruct, but invites. Not a command, but a compass. There was once a monk tormented by his silence. "Why can't I hear the divine?" he asked his master. The master took him to the river. They sat beside it as time dissolved. The monk grew impatient. "What am I supposed to hear?" he finally asked. The teacher smiled. "You're still listening through the noise of your impatience. And isn't that all of us? Listening not to understand, but to control. Listening not with our hearts, but with our agendas. And so we miss the sacred stillness that contains everything we've been seeking. Manifestation isn't about forcing life to obey your vision. It's about becoming so aligned with truth that life reflects your peace without resistance. The world is not behind you. You are not late. That's what the noise says. But silence knows you are already whole. You are not broken. You are not lacking. You are simply crowded. With thoughts, with fears, with urgency. Clear the space. Let the sky return to your water. Let your soul speak. Because clarity does not shout. It waits. And when you stop chasing the answer, you become the answer. 7. Let go of expectation. Embrace appreciation. Each morning, we often wake not with peace, but with a quiet ache, a longing for something different, a message that hasn't come, a dream that hasn't arrived, a version of life that feels just out of reach. The mind begins its chase, more success, more recognition, more certainty. But what if the shift we're seeking isn't in the future, but in the way we see this moment? When we expect, we grip tightly. We demand, even silently, that life bends to our timeline. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, suffering isn't born from life itself. It comes from the resistance to how life unfolds. It's our craving that whispers, "If only things were different." And in that whisper, tension builds. The more we expect, the narrower our focus becomes. But appreciation, it opens us. It allows us to meet the present with softness, not struggle. Life flows not toward the clenched, but toward the calm, like water filling an open bowl, not a closed fist. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what expectation am I carrying that's weighing me down? Are you waiting for someone to change before you feel peace? Waiting for success to prove your worth? Every time we delay joy for someday, we abandon the power of now. True alignment cannot be forced. It's not summoned by striving. It's welcomed by gratitude. Not because gratitude changes your circumstances, but because it transforms you within them. It tunes your inner world to receive. Try this today. Think of 3 quiet blessings in your life. Not obvious ones, but subtle gifts. The rhythm of your breath. The morning light brushing across your window. The heartbeat you didn't ask for, yet still continues. Now feel them. Not with your mind, but with your presence. That warmth inside. That's connection. That's presence. That's what the universe responds to. Not effort, but energy. There's an old Zen tale of a monk who walked long distances every day just to drink from a particular spring. When asked why, he smiled and said, "Because after the journey, the water becomes sacred." Maybe life is meant to be lived this way, not in constant pursuit of more, but in deeper reverence for what already is. So reflect on this. Are your expectations blinding you to the blessings around you? Could it be that what you've been hoping for is already present, simply unseen? The paradox is powerful. When you stop demanding, you begin receiving. When you truly see what's here, life begins to respond in kind. Manifestation isn't about control, it's about resonance. And nothing creates that resonance like a heart that says, "Thank you, this is enough." That's when life, without force or pressure, begins to echo back. Here's more. Bonus wisdom. Let life surprise you. We often script our lives like blueprints, every step mapped, every outcome forecasted. We plan, prepare, and try to control the unfolding of each day. But life, in its quiet wisdom, doesn't always follow our plans. It speaks through the unexpected. Buddhism reminds us that the more we tighten our grip, the more we close ourselves off to life's natural rhythm. Imagine holding a sealed jar. Nothing can enter, no new air, no light. In the same way, when we cling too tightly to what must happen, we block what could happen. Think back to a moment that caught you by surprise, a sudden kindness, a new direction, an opportunity you never saw coming. Often, it's these unscripted moments that shift everything. Not because we forced them, but because we allowed space for them to arise. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting. Trusting that what is unfolding may be better than what we imagined. Try this now. Take a slow breath and say to yourself gently, "I allow life to move through me." Feel what softens within. When we step back from control, we create room for grace. New energy enters, new ideas surface, and life feels lighter. The need to predict fades, replaced by a quiet openness. Instead of forcing the river to flow faster, we begin to float with it. If you're facing uncertainty, unsure of your purpose, worn down by decisions, questioning your path, the answer might not lie in effort, but in surrender. Surrender is not passivity. It is courageous receptivity. It means aligning with life's greater rhythm, even when we can't hear the music yet. The universe loves to move in mysterious ways. And often, it is the surprise, the thing you didn't expect, that brings the growth you most needed. A single moment of unplanned grace can do more than years of planning. In Zen, surrender is strength. It's the wisdom to loosen the mind's grip and let the heart lead. What if you began each day not with fear, but with curiosity? Not with control, but with wonder. That shift alone can open 1,000 unseen doors. So ask yourself, where are you still trying to hold the reins? What might happen if you place them down for just a moment and trusted? Conclusion: peace begins where struggle ends. We spend so much of life chasing answers, chasing outcomes, chasing peace. But in the chase, we often miss the stillness already waiting inside us. Manifestation, in its truest form, isn't about pushing harder. It's about aligning with what's already flowing your way. It's about stepping out of the way so that life can do what it's meant to do. The more you fight against reality, the heavier life feels. But the moment you release the struggle, something shifts. Peace arrives. Clarity enters. You don't have to make life happen. You just need to stop blocking what's already trying to find you. You are not separate from life's current. You are the current. And as you begin to trust that, you stop demanding. You stop overthinking. You start listening. Try this. Take a breath. Be here. You don't need all the answers right now. You only need to take the next small step with presence. Buddhism doesn't teach escape. It teaches embrace. Not through effort, but through awareness. When you no longer chase peace, you become it. When you realize you are not missing anything, you stop searching. And in that silence, life meets you. Let this be your reminder. Profound wisdom often wears the clothes of simplicity. You've been told to do more, achieve more, strive harder. But perhaps the most powerful path forward is softer, quieter, more trusting. Come back to the present. Let life come to you. When you stop chasing, the journey begins.